New week, hopefully, it's gonna be better than last week. Well, actually, I take that back. It's definitely gonna be better than last week. Let's get this vlog started. I've been trying to eat right here lately, like, not eating a lot of junk stuff, you know what I mean? Like eating a lot of vegetables, eating a lot of fruits and stuff like that. So like when I was home, right, I weighed myself, man, I weigh 207 pounds. I never, even when back in the military days, right, I took a lot of supplements and things like that trying to gain weight. I could never hit like past 180. You know what I mean? I think actually I hit 182, I believe, doing that like hardcore. I'm talking like 6 months straight. I tried that, and I was only up able to get up to 182. I was bulked though. I was really, really bulked. But like as you age, you know what I mean? It's like gaining weight is so easy. You know what I mean? and I didn't even realize how heavy I am. Really, for my height, I don't. That's not a good weight. 207. So I'm gonna try to shed all the way down to 180. Maybe even below 180. But yeah, that's why I've been. I haven't been eating a lot of junk food. As a matter of fact, I just eat like a lot of vegetable stuff. Like this vegetable. You know, that's it. That's all I got in there. This is actually pretty good, believe it or not. So as I sit here and wait for a load, like that last week load, I knew like the way the market was looking, right? I knew that that was the reason for that rate. It was because of, just we just had a what you call it, a blizzard, right? And see, let me there was a load, right? See, the problem is we're doing it to ourselves. Us carriers, we're doing it to ourselves, man. So let's go take a look at this conversation I had, right, with this one broker. Okay, so this was on a Thursday. I was trying to get this load on a Thursday, so it was coming from Lincoln, Nebraska to Alexandria, Minnesota. It's oversized, right? It's two plastic, big old plastic tanks. Okay, the round tanks, uh, 10 wide, 10 high. Okay. Anyway, he's going to Minnesota, which like it's on the 90, right? Alexandria is close to the 90, right? But it's past St. Cloud, Minnesota. So it's pretty much going to be out of nowhere, right? So I think it was like 400 something miles, right? I can't remember how much it was. Let me see. Yeah, it was like 400 something miles. So anyway, I go, see, here's the technique that this broker, I saw him used, okay? Here's what's your MC number? I give him my MC number. You know, uh, what type of trailer do you have? I tell him what type of trailer I have. It's a 53-foot step deck. Okay, uh, and then he finally gave the details of the load. Right, two plastic tanks, 10 wide, 10 tall, 18-foot long each, both on the bottom deck. Of course, I mean, why would you have to? Why would you have to mention that? Anyway, straps only, no chains, and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. First come, first serve, shipping and delivery, no tarp, $1,600. So I said, okay. I calculated this already before I contacted this broker, okay? I said, let's go $5 a mile, which is not outrageous, right? I mean, you're coming from a good area to a semi not so good area. I'd say, 70% of the time you probably, maybe 60% of the time you're probably going to want a deadhead out of there, or go down south 200 miles, before you can find anything good, right? Anyway, so I quoted him 2240, and then he replies back, I covered all 4 loads in 5 minutes for 1,600. So at 1,600, that thing is three 350 a mile or something like that. Okay, which is not bad, right? It really isn't bad. But now you have to think permits. Permit wise, that's gonna be $100. Okay, now the type of equipment you need to secure those plastic pipes or tanks is a 40-foot straps. Okay, um, I'm gonna go out of my way and say not a lot of step deck haulers carry 40-foot straps. This is a tactic that I saw that this broker is using. What he's saying is like he's not putting all the exact details on the load description, and they trying to move this thing for 350 a mile. I mean, like I said, it's just gonna be just the permit alone. It's gonna be $100. This is why, like, we're doing it to ourselves, really. I mean, I understand on both sides. I really do. On from the broker side, what they're doing is like they're trying to eliminate the requirements on the load posting, so it's a lot less resistance. I guess you could say something like that, right? Because like if they caught you off guard, right? Because this was email only, but if they catch you off guard and you don't think about those kind of things, and you're just like, oh, 350 a mile is not that bad, right? But if that was listed, if all of those requirements was listed, because they are specific, right? You're gonna need 40-foot straps. If you really think about it, they're doing this on purpose. You know what I mean? And they're doing it on purpose because for that reason, for the reason that they don't want the least amount. They want the least amount of resistance from the carrier. Okay. When they list all of those requirements on the load description, they're gonna have a lot more resistance from the carrier based on the rate and things like that. Because I mean, I have that, right? You require that, I have that. You require this, I have that. Therefore, let me go raise up the rate. Time for that load board. By the way, I see a lot of people. There's still a few people that are asking like, what load board are you using and things like that. The load board I'm using right now, the most in an open deck, okay, is Truck Stop. Truck Stop load board, I think is better when it comes to open deck. When it comes to like power only and van side, I think they're pretty much even between the DAT load board and Truck Stop. Any other load board, I never venture to uh, go to them and check them out. Because it's like I feel like it's not even worth your time. Because you already have so much going on within these two apps. I see it from the carrier side of things, okay? From the carrier side of things is that, like, a lot of these, I could imagine a lot of these carriers panic, right? Look at it. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, right? And we are showing about 160 loads, right? Now it's only 148, right? But there's not a whole lot in a 200-mile radius. You know what I mean? And we're in the thick of it. There was one load coming from here, from this area, going to San Diego for 4,000, which is like 220, 228 a mile or something like that. It's low 230, right? And it's by Landstar. Here you go. Here you go. Oh, 246. Gosh darn, it disappeared. I'm not taking that load. Anyway, that load details on that needed tarp, right? Needed 4-foot tarp. It had to be delivered by Wednesday. These are the requirements on it, okay? Uh, it was, I believe, it's like 1,600 miles. So I mean, you could do it by Wednesday, right? But at 4,000, that's nowhere near enough. And the crazy thing is, like, the high on the average on that lane. So in the past 30 days, is that it's at 4,400, and a 4,000, you know what I mean? It's like Landstar is gonna be Landstar, like a broker is gonna be a broker. They always gonna try to offer it within that operating range. So it's like, you see how the board is looking right now. It doesn't look good, man. It really does not. you know there's not a whole lot. It's a whole bunch of junk, and this junk right here is gonna stay in that freaking load board. They thought that it was a good idea to put something for $1.65 but 48 foot long. Let me see. S.O. Pocahontas. Palletized truck parts need flatbed or step deck with straps, no tarp load. Okay, it looks like the way they got this worded. I don't know what S/O mean. Second pickup, maybe. Anyway, again, I'm thinking there's a second pickup on there. This truck stop is huge, man. Like the parking lot go way out. So this is on exit 29 at I-29. Wow, what a coincidence, right? I think it's exit 29 on I-29, maybe exit 26. Anyway, it's a TA. It's not used to be a TA. It used to be something else, and TA like took over and stuff like that. That's the only reason why I'm here, because you know, you fuel up at the TA, you get a shower, right? And fuel here is cheaper, so it was worth it. And plus, they have like Wi-Fi all over, and then also this place has like a lot of good stuff inside. You know, like if you're not prepared to, you know, bring, or you don't have a fridge, or you don't have a lot of stuff with you, there's a lot of stuff inside. Let's go check it out. So we can go look at the load board from here, right? We're doing it to ourselves as carriers. The reason why I say that is because look at the reply the broker has. Is like the only rebuttal he's got on why the rate should be at 1,600 is because he just booked it with four carriers within 5 minutes booked it for 1,600. You know, that was the only reason why. You know, he didn't have no other reasoning why he had it at 1,600. So those four carriers that just booked it, they made that broker think, hey, he's gonna go for 1,600, which he probably went, because it disappeared off the load board. So for a minute there, things wasn't looking good at all, right? But look what we got now. We got us a big boy that we're dropping off right here, a Ritchie Bros. You know, see, that's the funny thing about the load board, right? Specifically, that's why you don't see me panic. Like in the earlier part of the videos, right? Like the things didn't look good, right? Nothing looked good on the load board. Why is this thing so low on the ground? Hey. Anyway, nothing looked good on the load board, right? I mean, like, it's trash, right? But look where we are now, though. You know, this load is paying $1,300. So, funny thing about this load, in the early mornings, right, they had it posted for $800. So I didn't pay it no mind. I called it once, you know. I said, hey, let me get the details on that. And they told me the details. I said, man, that's too much, man. That's too much truck, you know. So I said, man, I think I'm going to pass up on that, you know. So I did. And then a little later on, they posted it for $1,000, right? I said, I didn't pay it no mind. And then later on again, they had it posted for $1,200 or $1,100. Yeah, $1,100. I said, these freaking people, man. So I called it. I said, hey, let's do 13, man. He said, man, I'm going to have to get that approved. So he went, called it in. He said, all right, we're good to go. Just imagine, right? Like, I don't know how much they got this load for, you know what I mean? But that's a big difference from 800, right? So they were, I mean, like, I've worked with these broker a couple of times before, you know, and from what I remember, if you ask for a rate or whatever, they're not just gonna be like, man, I can't just do that. And then they tell you, hey, hold on 1 second, let me find out, you know? What the heck? I sure feel like that. Maybe it's the ground. But anyway, yeah, so we got it for $1,300. It's only going for 200 miles. What is that? $6.50 a mile? Now, this load was calling for, I'm gonna loosen them up so I'm not binding my chain overnight. Anyway, they were calling for ramps. No problems. That's one of the reasons why I didn't want to use ramps, or I didn't really want to get this load, because this thing is double frame and it weighs, it's showing that the broker is showing 33,000 pounds. I don't think it's 33,000 pounds. I would say at least 30,000 pounds. Now, these things are only rated for 25,600, but that's per axle, okay? There's no chance the front of that is 25,400. Anyway, that's why I said, okay, let's do it. For 1,300, yeah, definitely we can do it. But anything less than that, I probably could have asked for more, really. But that's being greedy, right? I mean, $6.50 a mile, right? I mean, yeah, $6.50 a mile, right? And oh yeah. They the pickup, they had a stinking ramp. And then over here, guess what? They're gonna have a ramp. So, not really, like, you know what I mean? We're not really working hard. And it was calling for like driver load and driver unload, right? This is the only place that we're gonna do driver unload on this thing, is right here, you know. Over there, they helped us out, you know what I mean? So, it's really not a bad deal, you know what I mean? This is a good deal. Now, on top of that, right before I even pick up the doggone load, on my way to go pick up the load, I found a load that's picking up tomorrow with an appointment, with a crane appointment at 10 o'clock. It's supposed to be some big old AC unit, right? Just one unit. It doesn't weigh much, but it needs the bottom deck, you know. Anyway, appointment over here 8 miles away, and then an appointment where it's dropping off, which is somewhere in Illinois, not too far away. Like it's only like 470 miles, and we got that load for 1,500. That's not bad, really. Like, that's not bad at all. Coming from this area, that is not bad. And that is what I mean when I said, like, on the last video, towards the end of that video, I said positive, right? You give out positive vibe, positive things will come your way. You know what I mean? So, as a matter of fact, somebody had commented this, right? And I felt that. I really did, because he didn't have to say anything. And I felt that, because I feel, you know what I mean? I'm going through the same thing he's going through, you know? And, you know, but that's the thing. Like, that's how I am, though. Like, even though most times you may think I'm a pessimist, right? That's not a negative thing. That's not something, you know, like really bad. But it's just that I like to face reality. So if reality is giving me some negative things, I'm going to accept those negative things. And I'm going to try to spin them around and look beyond those negative things and try to see if we can make a positive thing out of that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to spin that negative thing into something positive, but we're going to go around that negative thing and try to find a positive thing of it, right? Everything has a negative and a positive, right? So anyway, that's why when he sent that comment, I felt that. I really did. Hopefully things get better, you know. I mean, I think they will, you know. I mean, they can't keep going as bad, right? I mean, or could they? Anyway, we will see y'all in the next video.